I almost started the vlog with good morning, my friends, even though I just finished my lunch. It's actually my second time filming this intro for you today because I was really flustered earlier. I went out last night to see Wicked. It was the premiere night in Amsterdam, which was so much fun. I cannot tell you how excited I have been for the past couple of years for this movie to come out, not only because Wicked is my favorite musical, but also because Ariana Grande is one of my favorite singers, and I love Cynthia and Erivo too, even though I'm a little bit new to her. But when I heard that they were going to be Elphaba and Glinda, I cannot tell you how excited I got, and honestly, just they just knocked it out of the park. I had really high expectations, but they were somehow able to exceed those. It was one of the best movies I have seen in a really long time. And it was quite funny because Spotify just yesterday released their end of year wrap. You know how every year they release who your most listened to artists and songs were? Well, it was quite funny because it came out just a couple of hours before I left to the cinema. And as it turns out, Ariana Grande was my number one artist. Out of 930 artists that I listened to, she was number one. And I think I listened to just under 7,000 minutes of Ariana Grande, which put me in the 0.1% of her top listeners. And I do not want to call myself an Ariana Grande fan because I really don't know anything about her private life. I have no interest in who she's dating and what she has for breakfast, but I love her as an artist and clearly I love her music. So I knew that the movie was going to be great, but I didn't expect it to be as spectacular as it was. The cinematography, the costumes, the songs, the singing, the acting, the jokes, it was honestly just an incredible experience. So I'm really glad that I got to see it the first night it came out in Amsterdam, but that meant that I didn't get home until like 11:30, and I was up. I think I had to wake up at like 5:36 because my entire morning I spent at college. Then I had a ton of work to catch up on. Then I went to the gym before going to the movies. So it was a long day. I didn't get home until 11:30, which I am so not used to at this point. I feel like I all I do these days is go to school, work, go to the gym, come home, eat, sleep, and hang out with Pi. That's pretty much my life. So the fact that I was out past my bedtime and I didn't get home until late kind of messed me up this morning. Thankfully, I did not have. I mean, I actually had quite a productive morning, but I didn't have any meetings. I didn't have to go to school today, so I have just been doing admin from the couch. I did film the intro, which, as I said, I was just a hot mess. I could not put a cohesive sentence together, and I am still struggling, as you can tell. But today is going to be a little bit of a mishmash of a vlog. I have been filming clips here and there. I had an appointment at Van Cleef earlier this week, which I'm really excited to share with you. I'm going to share it once I'm done with the intro, just so you know what we're doing. But just keep in mind that I filmed the Van Cleef part of the vlog on a different day than the rest of the vlog because I had an appointment at Van Cleef on, was it Monday or Tuesday that I had an appointment at Van Cleef? As I told you in my last vlog, they have just opened a new Van Cleef boutique in Amsterdam, which was really exciting. So when you told me that you would be interested in going to Van Cleef with me, I made an appointment and I had a lovely experience with just a lovely client advisor at Van Cleef. We had a lot of fun. We looked at some beautiful pieces. There was one thing that caught my eye, but I'm really not in love with any Van Cleef pieces, but it's something that I would consider. But I'm actually paying for another piece of jewelry at Hermes today. We're going to stop by also Hermes to pick up a pair of pants, the pants that I bought last time we went to Hermes together. I think I told you that I would go back to the tailor with you, which I did go back to Hermes to meet with the tailor, and I filmed myself trying on the pants, but I did not have enough footage to make an entire vlog out of it. So I'm going to insert the footage here, and it was so funny because I didn't realize that Hermes uses the same tailor that Dior does. Neither brand has an in-house tailor. Instead, they work with an independent tailor, and I had not had a chance to meet with this tailor at Hermes, so I didn't realize that she's the person that Hermes uses because I've had a couple of things tailored at Hermes in Amsterdam, but they were always sent out and they were pinned by someone at the boutique, not by the tailor herself. But at Dior, because I used to buy so many tailoring pieces, they would set up an appointment for me to meet with the tailor in person. So she would come to Dior, she would pin all the things herself, and that's how I knew her. So anyway, long story short, I didn't realize that it was the same person that Dior uses, which gave me a lot of confidence that the pants will turn out great because I knew how amazing she was. So I'm really excited to pick up my new pants. And then I also took a pair of pants to my appointment that I bought from Hermes earlier this year, but I haven't had a chance to wear because they did not turn out great. They had to be tailored, but they were pinned by someone else. And then they were sent out to the tailor and they came out fine, but they were not as great as they should have been. So I took the pants to the appointment and she is going to tweak them for me. So I'm excited to get those back too. I have to pay for a piece of jewelry. And believe it or not, I also want to stop by Louis Vuitton today because I came across a bag online that I think it must be a new design because I have never seen this Louis Vuitton bag before. So I would love to have a look at it in person. And then we might also stop by Prada really quickly because I do want to pick up at least one pair of nylon pants. I do love their nylon pieces in the fall and winter, especially when it's so rainy and wet outside, but I don't have any bottoms that fit me anymore. I think I have a nylon sweater and a nylon blazer, which I still love, but I do need a pair of pants. So if we have the time, I would love to pass by Prada. But before we do that, I actually have to give my kitchen another scrub because, sorry guys, I was just interrupted by some text messages on my Apple Watch. I forgot to put it on Do Not Disturb, so I kept getting text messages. What was I saying? I have to give my kitchen another scrub because, as I told you, I got home really late last night, but I was still a little bit hungry. I didn't have time to have a proper dinner. I had some popcorn at the movies. You cannot go to the movies without having popcorn, but I was still pretty hungry, but I was like, it's a little too late to make a proper meal, so I wanted to make myself this sort of parfait. And I opened a brand new tub of yogurt, and as I opened it, I dropped it and it spilled all over my black kitchen, and everything in my kitchen has a soft touch matte black finish to it, which it's difficult enough to clean smudges and fingerprints off of it, let alone white dairy products. So I was on my hands and knees trying to clean my kitchen counter and my floor. It went everywhere and it still has kind of like a greasy, milky finish to it, which is not the prettiest look. So I'm going to go ahead and give my kitchen another scrub before we leave to Hermes. What a glamorous day, but that is the truth. So anyway, I'm going to include some footage here of me going to Van Cleef earlier this week. Let me know what you think about the pieces. I did like one of the rings, not in love with it, but I do kind of like it and it is a special piece. So perhaps if you are a big Van Cleef fan, especially if you love the Alhambra, that would be an amazing piece for you to check out. Then we're going to Hermes to pick up my pants, pay for a piece of jewelry. We're going to Louis Vuitton, Prada, and I do think, thinking about it now, it might be one of the last videos that you see from me this year because next week is my last week of classes of the year, obviously. Then the following week, I have my exam. So I don't think I have a chance to film that week. And then I think that weekend I'm actually leaving to the Canary Islands and I don't think I'll be filming there because I'm not going there to shop. I'm going to a sports resort, which if you would like me to vlog that experience, let me know. I don't think most of you would be interested in that, but if you are, I'd be happy to document some of the experience, but yeah, it's definitely not going to be luxury slash shopping heavy. So I think next week I'm going to film a luxury haul for you, sharing the trousers because I assume you would want to see those. Hopefully the piece of jewelry I'm paying for today will be here by then. And then I'm also waiting on a new bag that should be arriving actually today or tomorrow. So that is definitely something I want to share with you before the end of the year. And then maybe I'll film one more video before the year ends. If there's anything you would like to see from me, let me know in the comment section because obviously I want to film things for you that you actually want to see and things that add value to your life too. So if you have any requests, please feel free to drop them in the comment section because I always love reading your comments. But yeah, I think this is everything that I wanted to share with you. I'm going to put on some more Ariana while I'm cleaning my kitchen in case you're interested in what my most listened to songs were. In the past year, it was, I think number one was The Boy's Mind from Ariana Grande. Number two was Austin. And then number three, again from Ariana, was, I think it was Bye. And it's funny because those three songs pretty much sum up my love life from the past year. So they are very much on brand. And then the rest was just a mix of different Ariana Grande songs, pretty much. So let me stop rambling. Let me go give my kitchen another scrub before we leave to Hermes. But if you would like to spend the rest of the day luxury window shopping with me, then make sure to give this video a thumbs up. Subscribe down below if you haven't done so yet, and keep on watching. Let's dive right in and start with the creme de la creme, a few pieces of Van Cleef high jewelry. Now, if you've never heard the term high jewelry before or you're unsure about the difference between fine and high jewelry, I would suggest that you check out my video on the world of Chanel jewelry. But long story short, while both fine and high jewelry are extremely luxurious, high jewelry is distinguished by its exceptional craftsmanship because money, time, and resources are really no object when it comes to these pieces. They are handcrafted by the very best artisans, sparing no time or elaborate techniques, using the finest materials and rarest gems. And as you would expect, they are not only exclusive because of the prices, which we'll move on to in just a second, but also because of how limited these pieces are. Usually you only find a couple of these pieces at larger flagships. So I was really pleasantly surprised to see two pieces on display from Van Cleef's Snowflake collection, which you probably guessed is inspired by snowflakes and ice crystals. The pendant you see here on display featuring just over 6 carats of flawless diamonds and a ring that's set with clusters of diamonds to recreate sort of the dazzling scene of a snowball fight. The ring can be yours for $75,500 and the pendant is $93,000 and it actually comes in two different sizes, this being the larger one. And the other collection that I had the pleasure of seeing is the so-called Palmyre collection that was actually inspired by an oasis in the heart of the desert. Each diamond representing drops of water, which are as precious in the desert as diamonds are in the concrete jungle. This collection, as you'll see, is available in both white and yellow gold. And at first glance, these pieces might not seem like anything groundbreaking, but true luxury is in the details because each stone is carefully set with an extremely time-consuming and precise open work structure just to really let each and every single diamond glimmer like a drop of water would. The necklace is of course the star of the show, showcasing just under 18 carats of flawless diamonds for the humble price of $195,000. And speaking of exceptional pieces, I would fail you if I didn't mention Van Cleef's extraordinary timepieces, which have won countless awards. Now, in my opinion, these are more of a piece of art or a piece of high jewelry that just happened to tell the time. These watches are really some of the most imaginative and artfully crafted pieces, but they also cost you as much, if not more, than a prestigious piece of art would that you see hanging in galleries. As a hopeless romantic, my favorite piece of the collection is, of course, the so-called Lover's Bridge watch, which pays poetic tribute to love. This is a piece that I have seen and tried on several times, but since they had it on display, I had to try it again. This piece depicts two lovers on opposite sides of a Parisian bridge, and as the day goes on, they get closer and closer to each other, finally meeting for a brief few seconds at noon and at midnight to steal a kiss. You know, some people dream of a beautiful engagement ring, others a love bracelet as a declaration of love. Personally, next time I get married, I would like to receive one of these. The one we're looking at here is the more petite model, which can be yours for just under $140,000. I told you guys it's as expensive as a serious piece of art. And then there is one that's slightly larger without diamonds, which is the one they usually recommend for men. If you've seen any one of my previous videos on Van Cleef, you already know my thoughts on the brand. I love the house's heritage, their craftsmanship, and most importantly, this sort of polished ladies who lunch aesthetic, which is really unmatched. However, there is more to Van Cleef than just the Alhambra line, which is what most people think of when they hear the brand Van Cleef. Rightfully so, considering that it's part of most people's luxury starter pack. But if you're looking for something slightly more unique and, in my opinion, more versatile and more universally flattering, don't overlook the Pearly collection, which actually features the same golden beads that you'll find on the Alhambra pieces, which, as I learned during my appointment, was actually inspired by, believe it or not, couscous grains out of all things. Now, this collection is ever expanding, and one of the most recent additions to the collection is the so-called Pearly Duo Ring, which comes in all three shades of gold and is set with a ribbon of diamonds. It retails for $9,600, but personally, I wasn't really blown away by it. These next pieces are nothing new. They are part of the classic Van Cleef Banquo collection that's actually been getting increasingly popular over the past few years and is often seen as part of a more flashy bracelet stack, which is the so-called pearly bangles. These pieces are offered in several different variations and width. This one is the classic pearly clover bangle, which features not just the pearly beads, but also the very same clover motifs as the Alhambra line. This bracelet comes in two different widths. This one is the wider one and it retails for $28,800. And while it's quite eye-catching on its own, I do think it looks best stacked with other pieces. So I also tried it with the signature bangles, which instead of diamonds are adorned with a cursive engraving of the Van Cleef logo, which I have to say is really not my cup of tea, but if it is yours, these bangles will set you back just over $7,000 a piece, and they're offered again in rose, yellow, and white gold. As you can tell, I am not big on the Alhambra line, and it's not because I think the design is inherently flawed, but I think it is a really particular look that just doesn't suit everyone, in my opinion. A piece that I do think is quite fun, however, is the Alhambra clover ring, which does look quite special as a take on a traditional signet ring. This one is a faithful new take on the classic Alhambra ring in that it's actually reversible. One side is in the so-called guilloche finish, which gives Van Cleef pieces the most spectacular sparkle without actually relying on diamonds. And then the flip side features a red carnelian stone. This ring is exclusively available in rose gold, which is my favorite shade of gold, with either a red or a blue stone, and it retails for $5,850, which I actually thought was surprisingly fair. And then here is the traditional vintage Alhambra ring with a black onyx centerpiece and a single diamond, which just sort of gives you a little wink, which again would make for a really playful take on a more masculine traditional signet ring. And this stone retails for, or I should say this ring with this stone retails for $3,650. It is my bad, but I didn't realize that my advisor at Hermes had the day off, so I only had the quickest of brows while they were getting my trousers from the back. But two pieces that I wanted to quickly point out to you are the Bolide on wheels, which I can't believe they continue to produce in new colors, but they are. I personally adore the classic mini Bolide, and I'm so happy to see it getting more and more love and attention. But personally, I would not waste my money on this iteration of it. I don't think the Bolide needs anything else, but if you're a collector, I understand why you would love this fun, quirky new take on it. But speaking of wasting money, who remembers the Micro Kelly Twilly? Anyway, I had to show you another piece that I do think is worth the hype, which is the CDC 24 bracelet in the iconic and extremely exclusive Himalaya, or officially known as natural color, which is special for two reasons. Firstly, the color, and secondly, the fact that it's crafted from nylocroc, as are all Himalaya pieces, instead of alligator, which is the exotic skin leather accessories are traditionally made of. This is a very special CDC piece, so if you are a collector of the CDC or if you just love the Himalaya colorway, this I would highly encourage you to jump on. I was genuinely blown away by the selection of trunks that the Louis Vuitton boutique in Amsterdam had available. It seemed like they had every color in every size with almost every configuration imaginable available, which I'm not sure if it's down to luck, if it's the fact that Louis Vuitton boosted their production of these pieces in prep for the holidays, or if it's because not many people are buying them these days. Anyway, it was fun to see, but what I stopped by for was to see this new bag, which, as I learned, is cleverly named the Low Space Key Tote Bag. It comes in two different variations, a tote bag and a hobo, which the hobo is offered in two sizes. The tote, sadly, only comes in one, but both are made from a supple grained calfskin and are lined with suede. And it's a really understated leather tote from Louis Vuitton, probably the most low-key piece they have produced in the past few years. The only hardware detail is a large padlock, which is where the name comes from. It is, of course, a low-key bag, but it also comes with a padlock detail, which actually allows you to adjust the strap length. And as much as I was rooting for this bag, I sadly find this size quite awkward, and I wish it was a little bigger, not to mention that to the touch, it didn't feel luxurious enough to justify the 3,500 euro price tag. I had high hopes for this. I was going to recommend it, or I was hoping to be able to recommend it. But to be really honest with you, I think you can do so much better for this much money. If you follow luxury trends, I'm sure you have noticed the Margaux effect. Pretty much every single luxury brand came out with their own take on an effortlessly oversized large tote bag with structured handles, inspired largely by the success of the Row Margaux bag. Now, the Margaux openly pays tribute to the Birkin bag, considering that the Olsen twins have been fans and collectors of the brand for decades, and a lot of their first launches for the Row were actually inspired by their own collection, consisting mainly of Hermes and old Celine pieces designed by Phoebe Philo. Anyway, Prada took their own stab at this trend with the launch of this untitled leather tote with buckles, which has an ultra sleek minimalist design. It comes in two sizes, and if you're a fan of Prada, it's a bag you really cannot go wrong with. In comparison to the Margaux bag, it is slightly less expensive, but your size and color options are more limited. It obviously features metal lettering that spells out the brand name, which is not something you'll ever see from the Row. And the most shocking difference is how much lighter this bag is. Not in a cheap way, but in a way that just makes this bag more comfortable to use. So if you like a large bag, but you don't want one that will make you feel like you're carrying rocks, this would be a great piece to check out. But we didn't come here to look at bags. Instead, I wanted to pick up another pair of pants. I tried on two pairs of different pants, one from the women's collection, which I found incredibly unflattering. It has nothing to do with the pants, it just simply was not made for my body shape. So I tried on another pair from the men's collection, which I really liked. I thought it was really flattering, but it was unfortunately too big in size 46, so I have to try to get it in a size 44. They kindly offered to have them transferred for me, but I know I will not have time to stop by the boutique in the coming weeks with everything that's on my plate, so I have to try to get them online at one point. Anyway, I really appreciate you being here and spending the day with me. I cannot wait to see you back here with probably it's going to be a luxury haul, sharing with you everything that I scored in the past couple of weeks. So if that's something you would like to see from me, make sure to give this video a thumbs up and subscribe if you haven't done so yet. I really appreciate you being here and watching, and I will see you back here with a new video really, really soon.